With that, we move on to the final film in the Halloweentown series.
The nail in the coffin, as it were.
As it were. So, this film is entitled Return to Halloweentown, and it was released in 2006, 2 years after the last film. It was also known under the working title Halloweentown 4, Witch U. The film has a number of major departures from the previous movies. And that is that primarily notable is that Kimberly J. Brown does not reprise her role as Marty Piper. And as a result, the role is recast to actress Sarah Paxton.
She knew when to get the hell out.
So Sarah Paxton being better known
A skinny bitch.
As skinny bitch, better known for her role in a variety of films and television series, including Darcy's Wild Life and the film Summerland. She's also in Sleepover, Aquamarine, and a few others.
Nothing good.
Superhero movie.
Okay, she was decent in that, but that's because superhero movie did all the work.
Yeah.
I have to ask, was this the same writer as the first three?
The one returning writer, a Paul Birnbaum, was actually the writer on the first film. He was not on the second, and then he was on the third and fourth.
Okay, then.
So, one recurring writer and then different additional writers.
He obviously proves he sucks when he's alone.
Mm-hmm.
He could have gotten overpowered by the dumb other people in the process. Like he had a direction that wasn't followed.
Maybe. So the final film again is Return to Halloweentown. Again, Sarah Paxton first appearing as Marty Piper. The character of Sophie, played by Emily Rosk, does not appear in the film, and there's a much more minor role by Debbie Reynolds' Aggie Cromwell character as well. The film opens at the Piper home in the Mortal Realm, where Marnie is cleaning out her closet, or rather, it's cleaning itself out, and she's just helping it to make decisions. And effectively, she, through a series of circumstances, speaks to Grandma Aggie through the soup pot, because we established in this film that, they don't even need a witch's glass. They don't even need any kind of witch's glass like the last movie to talk to each other. They can talk to each other through any handy body of water.
Mm-hmm.
Or any liquid for that matter, not just water. So,
MacGuffin number 1.
Indeed. And effectively, via Aggie establishes early on that she's off training Sophie, and her cross-dimensional time travel needs a lot of work, so they're going to lose communication. She also congratulates Marnie, at which point Marnie is forced to reveal to her mother that she had applied to and been accepted to Witch University in Halloweentown, and that she was going to college there. Her mother does not agree with this, and says she won't pay for it, and Marnie reveals that she applied for and got a full scholarship, primarily for being a Cromwell. So,
No, it was for saving Halloweentown twice.
Well, that
in 2
too.
years.
Well, that too.
How big is Halloweentown? It just seems to get bigger and bigger.
And yeah, they just keep expanding it as they go. It's exponential. Anyway. So, effectively, Marty goes to Halloweentown U, being accompanied by Dylan, whom we find out him going along to college to help her set up, and eventually revealing that he's actually enrolled there himself was the only reason Gwen let her go. They arrive at Witch University, and they meet the chancellor of the school.
Dean, unless it's, weird.
Well, no, they call her Chancellor. I don't know why, but they call her the Chancellor. Chancellor Goodwin, played by Leslie Wing. Introduces her.
Can I mention we are introduced to the main villain pretty much off the bat before she even goes to university?
Yes, you are correct. The film, as with the previous film, Halloweentown High, opened with a little rhyming couplet at the beginning, whereas this film actually opened with the voice of our primary villain.
May I?
Sure.
This scene, the initial scene with the villain, basically shows you what era of Disney we are in, because this is totally fucking Power Rangers. Number 1, his name is Silas Sinister. Number 2, his family crest is an S but it's a snake in the shape of an S. Gee, I wonder if he's the bad guy. Oh, and in case you can't tell if he's a bad guy or not, no. He's a black throne with candelabras lit on either side that shoot flames up 6 feet into the air.
Also, there's a giant blinking sign that says, "Hello, I'm evil. Let me twiddle my mustache and hide a cape with a top hat."
Exactly, and you look at him, and they hired the most evil-looking Asian guy with a beard they could find. Seriously.
With a deep, booming voice.
You look at him, and you instantly think Shiwan Khan from The Shadow. Seriously, that's how evil he looks.
Yes, the film.
And he has 3 daughters, which is even worse.
Yeah, so we don't know who the shaman is right off the bat, but the film opens with a reading of the prophecy. It should come to pass, at the close of the first millennium, at the rise of the Halloween moon, a Cromwell of great power will embrace the gift. Marnie Piper is the Cromwell of the prophecy, the one we have waited for.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, unlike the first 3 movies, this movie has the subtlety of a brick wall.
Pretty much.
You have a gold brick wrapped around your head with a hint of lime. As to go with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yep. So the film opens, again, as I already said, the opening. So Marty and Dylan go off to Witch University, and yeah, but can you say blatant Harry Potter references?
Mm-hmm.
Effectively, as she and Dylan open the portal to go to Halloweentown, which is no longer a big stone door, it's just a amorphous fucking portal now, by the way. Continuity.
That's soft.
And
Yeah.
there are 2 Harry Potter references she makes at this point. Would you like to tell us, Marcus?
I don't know about the blatant Harry Potter references. All I know is that when I saw the fucking university, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's Hogwarts.
No. Because when they open the portal to go there, Marty wonders aloud to Dylan, I wonder how they'll take him to the university. Maybe it'll be a bunch of magical carriages pulled by headless horsemen or some boat across a misty bog. Okay, the 2 ways you can be brought from the Hogwarts Express to Hogwarts.
This is true.
In which point they step through the portal and Dylan, rather humorously, or maybe they'll just send Benny.
Also, it should be noted this movie is a movie with modern references. Like, before she goes to the university, her mother makes a Spider-Man reference saying, with all this power comes responsibility, Marty. To which Marty turns around and goes, Mom, you're not Spider-Man.
No, it's just, you stole that from Spider-Man.
Yeah, something like that. But yes, they make references, and it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes, this is definitely the Power Rangers era of Disney, people.
Mm-hmm. So, the film in question, they arrive at Halloweentown, at which point they're greeted by the Chancellor, who sends Marnie up to her room, and at which point, after running past 3 rather hot Asian chicks, who all kind of look alike, 2 of them were
The
twins.
only Asian chicks in the whole school.
Yeah. At which point, they basically walk around and treat. I don't know who that guy, the constantly snot covered guy was. I did not actually catch his species.
His species.
I don't know if he was a goblin or what the hell he was. If he was, he wasn't like Luke. But anyway, so they effectively trash this guy and act like bitches to everybody around them. Especially in acting like an asshole to Marnie, who uses magic to levitate her bags, at which point her bags are promptly dropped onto the ground by a creepy old dude behind a newspaper.
And no, his name is not Argus Filch.
No, his name, he will be introduced in a short while. But effectively, Marnie gets brought up to her room shortly after the point at which Dylan reveals to her that, yeah, I'm actually attending here too. That's the only reason Mom let you go, which pisses Marnie off to no end. So Dylan goes to find his dorm, and Marnie goes up to her room, which is very, very fancy, and in the highest room of the tallest tower.
Wait, how did they graduate at the same time? Shouldn't he be a year behind her?
We're going to get there. He explains how that happened at the end of this movie. Well, the short story, he skipped a grade. But we're going to... He mentions why at the end of the movie. So... basically, Marnie gets her room and receives a note, and her grandmother appears in, I guess, not dead Force Ghost form, or some kind of weird projection thing, and basically greets Marnie, congratulates her again, says, "Oh my God, there's so many things I should have told you. I'm so sorry, Marnie, but good luck. I'm losing my connection. Bye."
And that's the last we see of Debbie Reynolds.
Pretty much. We don't see much of her for the rest of the film, unfortunately.
Debbie Reynolds, we wish you well on your future endeavors.
Kind of, yeah. So, moving back to the film, Marnie receives a note to go down and see her RA. So she goes downstairs and finds her RA at her room, who is revealed to be a genie.
Poof, what do you want? Poof, what do you want?
No, it's what do you need? Get it right. If you're gonna quote that movie, at least get it right.
Sorry, I always thought it.
Not have to go, poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need?
Fair enough. Anyway.
Related note, reviews of all 3 Line movies can be found here in Rise from the Airwaves on the XPound.
Yes.
And the remaining Disney reviews are forthcoming, I promise. Technically, this counts. Ah! Anyway.
There you go.
So Marnie meets her genie friend, who, I'm just going to say for the record, is kind of hot. I'm just going to say it.
Mm-hmm.
She's a genie.
Pretty much.
She's a genie in a box.
Stop.
Well, I like that song.
Yeah, anyway. So she meets a genie with no powers except the ability to emit smoke from her mouth that can make shit move from place to place. That's apparently her only ability. And she basically introduces herself to Marnie, says, "Hey, I'm the RA, anything you want to know about the school, what's going on?" And she asks about the fashion police, whatever she calls them, that patrol the commons. And Anissa, the genie, explains to her that those are the Sinister sisters. Well, they're not very nice. No, I mean, Sinister is their name. Scarlet, Sage, and Sapphire Sinister. And effectively, basically, their dad is a very, very rich and powerful warlock, and so basically they do whatever the hell they want on campus. She also asks about the rule that's established by creepy old dude from earlier of why is there no magic permitted on campus, because Marnie skimmed the handbook instead of read it. And it is explained that effectively there is no magic permitted on campus for any reason. And using said magic can get you expelled from the college. And he explains this is because, actually it's because of you, Marty. When you opened the door permanently, a ton of teenagers from Halloweentown went to go to college in the mortal realm to get further away from their parents. As a result, enrollment at which you dropped, and in order to maintain it, because it used to only be witches and warlocks were allowed to attend, in order to maintain attendance, they had to open up to other creatures, which is how she got in. And it basically says, now that this has happened, it will be an unfair advantage for the witches and warlocks to be able to do all their work with magic while nobody else could. So magic is effectively outlawed on campus to sort of even the playing field.
I thought it was also because of the stupid midnight rule.
Well, that too, but that's not mentioned until later.
Oh, okay.
So Anissa lays this out, and effectively, yeah, okay, that's cool. And we establish all this. So Marnie begins attending her classes and whatnot. We see her cross Dylan's path a few times. The first class she goes to is effectively History of Magic, or History of Halloweentown, or whatever the hell that class is.
It should also be pointed out, as she's walking around campus before classes, she runs into Ethan.
Yeah, she happens to spot Ethan Dalloway, who is attending the school as well.
And happens to be in all her classes.
Some of them, not all. But yeah, many of her classes.
The ones that we see in the movie.
Yeah, so they establish a friendship again, and kind of go from there. The first class is the effective history of both the magic and mortal realms. And it is taught.
Professor Binns. Oh wait, that's Harry Potter.
And it is taught by Dr. Ichabod Grog. Grog. Yeah, Grog.
Gorilla?
No.
Gorilla Grog?
No, that's Grod. This is Grog. Close though.
Yes, the aforementioned old crusty dude.
Yes,
Or if you want, he looks like, think the fusion of Argus Filch and Severus Snape from Harry Potter.
Yes, he is Dr. Ichabod Grog. You will refer to him as Sir or Dr. Grog, not Dr. G, not G-Dog or G-Unit.
I like G-Dog, though.
Anyway, he effectively lays out the rules that says you're going to behave in my class, etc., etc. I'm a jerk. write me an essay immediately. So they proceed to do so, and one of the Sinister sisters blows on her little quill thing to make it write the essay for her, and then bewitches Marnie's essay near the end of class, so it looks like there's no words on the page, although upon her suspecting this, Grog reveals that, yeah, there was magic used on this, and he puts it in an evidence bag and forwards it over to the Chancellor to get inspected. So
what title did Silas hold?
I don't know.
Was he like the chairman or something?
I don't know what the hell he is. They never really explain.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, he's not really explained much about who he is.
Fair enough.
Just that he's kind of evil.
Kind of?
Apparently he's the head of Sinister Incorporated.
Oh, so he just funds the university.
He's apparently one of probably on their board of trustees, one of their large funders.
Fair enough.
So, eventually we establish all this at the school. Marnie goes to another class a bit later on. Again, after going to the lunchroom and seeing the Sinister Sisters basically have perfect lunches because they're so beautiful and hot that all the guys on campus are willing to break the rules and use magic for them when the professors aren't looking.
Yeah, and isn't it also established that they kind of bewitch all the guys to do this for them?
Not necessarily. Most of the guys do it of their own accord. I think it's established.
You bewitch them with their bodies by having boobs, and you guys are such simple.
Yeah, but they're Asian. They don't really have boobs.
They still bewitch them with their sexuality like whores.
Yeah, pretty much. You would be the expert on that.
I do not need to do that. I'm awesome on the inside, and just because I'm beautiful on the outside, that's a coincidence.
Is it wrong that... Oh, and also, just in case their sisters were evil, the first time you see them, and almost every time you see them walk out when they're together, they do the evil slow-mo thing of the, yeah, we're hot and we're evil and we know it strut. It's like, really?
Yep.
Hey.
Really. So, she attends another class. This class taught by a professor. Let's see here. It says here, Professor Priscilla Persimmon Periwinkle, who is a dead ringer for Aggie Cromwell. And
quite easily the best character of this movie.
Yes, and she teaches something about mortal literature. I guess it's English. So she talks a lot about Shakespeare and stuff. So she teaches a class, and it's established she's generally a good person, and that she doesn't give a shit about the no magic rules. She'll use it anyway.
And there's a reason for it, which we find out later.
So she uses magic. So effectively, she becomes a cool professor and whatnot, and things happen. So in the next class, we find out that she goes to the Chancellor, who has investigated the document from Grog's class, and reveals that a spell was cast on it, but it was too common of a spell. It didn't leave a trace of who did it, so they didn't really know. But after discussing going back and forth with the Chancellor is a very nice person. Says, we're going to sort this out. Don't worry, we'll get through it. But right now, we're late for our next class. What do you mean our next class? And she leads her down to the dungeon and into where a bunch of students are waiting, and opens a wall with a spell to reveal what looks like an archaeological dig. And explains that we have a very special. Normally, this is the dungeon of the old castle. It's normally off limits, but we have it open because we're doing a special thing for class this year. Effectively, you will be archaeologists, and you will try to dig up remnants of Halloweentown past. And effectively, it's a special thing we're doing because of this. And our class will be taught by our expert on all things historical, Dr. Ichabod Grog.
Yeah, actually, it's revealed that they're doing it for this year because this year happens to... What's the Halloweentown, 100th anniversary or some shit?
1000th, millennial.
1000th. So it's there's like a big celebration and stuff, and so to celebrate that, it's like, let's dig up our past.
Isn't millennial million and it would be like centurial or something like that?
No, a millennium is 1,000 years.
No, a century is 1,000. It's 100. Century's 100.
Moving along. So effectively, they start digging things up and whatnot, and Dr. Grog starts explaining things. He explains that 2/3 of your grade will be based on your individual findings at this dig. Blah, blah, blah. Magic arcing red beam of energy box floats into the air and lands in Marty's hands with the initials S. Cromwell engraved on the top of it. She's immediately accused of using magic to do this, and therefore at risk of expulsion, although that doesn't happen. And effectively, she starts wondering who S. Cromwell is. So, in the next day or two, she goes to Professor Periwinkle and asks her, "Do you know?" And they go into her private office, which is hidden behind her closet, in which she just does all the magic she fucking wants and doesn't give a shit. And admits that she refused to sign that stupid agreement. And basically says, "You know, do you happen to know when S. Cromwell this or that Splendora?" Which really, S. Cromwell, nobody made a Sophie joke, really? Come on, people. But Splendora. I knew Splendora Cromwell a very long time ago. She was a friend of mine. Is like, what can you tell me about her? Like, you're not going to tell me you're Splendora, are you? Because I'm having a real Star Wars moment right now. That's two. Count up two companies Disney reference before owning them.
Yeah. It's almost like Disney was see the future.
Better check your crystal ball again, Jafar. Anyway. So the film continues as Professor Periwinkle says, "I can't tell you anything else, Marty, not until you're ready. I'm sorry, but that's all I can tell you." So Marty goes to the only other resource she really has on campus, her brother Dylan, who finally gets something to do in this movie.
You mean aside from fawning over the Sinister Sisters?
Well, yeah, he thinks he's trying to learn Latin to impress Scarlet Sinister, but that doesn't go very far. So she convinces Dylan to help her go to the library, and where they find a lot of hilariously titled books, such as Little Cromwell Women, Cromwell's Inferno, etc. And, of course, a history of the Cromwells. So they're an attempt to find out who Splendora was. Dylan admits that the reason he skipped a grade in high school was that he was using magic to speed read. And that was how he skipped a grade and got into the same grade as Marnie and graduated at the same time. He claims it's the only thing he uses magic for. And, he confesses that he did kind of use... she's like, "You use the M word?" "Yes, I use the M word." So, he goes to do the magic. She's like, "But what? You'll get expelled. You can't do magic campus." He's like, "Fine, I won't speed read." And he starts meticulously, slowly reading one book. She's like, "All right, fine." So he magically reads all the books. And finds out that...
Yes.
And the Queen of Hearts has returned. Welcome back, Queen of Hearts. He effectively finds out that basically the thing Splendora put in the box is something known as the Gift, an incredible power passed down from Cromwell to Cromwell that she deemed to be too dangerous and locked away forever. But that's all we know. It doesn't mention what the power is. So meanwhile, Dylan goes back to trying to impress Scarlet Sinister, and Marnie goes to try to further solve this mystery. At this point, we see a meeting of Silas Sinister, where we find out that both Chancellor Goodwin and Dr. Grog are members of the evil group known as the Dominion, who are trying to enact this prophecy in order to get Marty Piper to assume the Gift and help them rule Halloweentown in some manner.
Which I will say, Dr. Goodwin was done well. That was kind of subtle, because I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. In all honesty, when I first saw this, I wasn't so sure about Grog. He was an asshole, but he seemed like he might be a Snape.
Yeah, well, I think that's why, is because you expect him to be more like a Snape or a Filch.
No, Filch is just an asshole. Fuck Filch. I expected more like a Snape, like he was this really powerful dude that looked like he might be totally evil, but it turned out he was actually good and just acted like an asshole because he was begrudgingly good. But that didn't go down. So they're all evil and on the Dominion. The Sinister Sisters show up, apparently knowing all this, at which point their father reminds them, after berating Grog for yelling at them, that they have to get Marty Piper to assume the Gift, and she has to be the one to open the box with her own magic, otherwise the prophecy won't be fulfilled. So they try to use the girls and various methods to convince Marty to open the box, including, first, Chancellor Goodwin taking Marty to the box and giving her full permission of the Chancellor to use her magic to try to open the box, which fails. We also have... I don't remember what the next one was, but the last thing they try is they realize if she thinks she's doing something... the next thing they try is blackmailing her into opening the box in some manner, to make her want to assume the Gift, to use the power on somebody. But the Sinister Sisters basically using a spell to enhance Dylan's own desires and basically turn him into a love slave. It should be mentioned at the same time that this is going on that Ethan Dalloway has sort of been having a thing with Marnie and has tried to get her to go out on a couple of dates. He brought her flowers. He's being all romantic. And Eventually, they do go out on a date to an ice cream parlor at Halloweentown, where they have some ice cream flying there on her room, because technically they were off campus, so magic was allowed. They have some ice cream, only to encounter the Sinister Sisters, who again have bewitched Dylan, and throw a fit. And it turns out one of them bewitched the rooms. When they try to fly back, they crash. So they arrive back at school after all this is going down, and Marnie still isn't, going for the box. And they, at another Dominion meeting, they urge the Sinister Sisters to try harder, because this is important. And finally, the last thing they try is they realize if she thinks she's doing something noble, then she'll be willing to do it. So Dr. Grog and Chancellor Goodwin have a meeting with Marnie and show her this scroll, supposedly a copy of the prophecy, slightly altered, and that were supposedly dug up by the Sinister Sisters, who dug all this stuff up from dirt by themselves, to show off or whatever, piss her off. And the scroll basically says that Great Cromwell will assume the gift and will bring peace to Halloweentown forever. And so they convince her that and there's a magical drawing that looks to be of Marnie, explaining that you are the Cromwell of the prophecy. You need to assume the gift. At midnight on Halloween, terrible forces are going to try to take over Halloweentown, and only you can stop it and restore peace forever to Halloweentown. You must find a way to open the box and assume the gift. And then they try to talk her into doing this. It should also be mentioned it was established earlier by Chancellor Goodwin that any spells cast at Halloweentown at Witch University become permanent at the stroke of midnight on Halloween. Unfortunately, this sort of thing, another reason the magic thing was put down was because some issues with the magic happened before, such as a few years ago, half the freshman class having to be sent home as teacups.
Did she say spells cast only at Witch University, or just spells cast in general?
No, spells cast at Witch University specifically.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes. So,
which is a retarded rule, but fair enough.
It is. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, plot point. Anyway, Marnie... MacGuffin. So, Marnie tries to continue finding a way to open the box and to get her brother out of the clutches of the Sinister Sisters. And Ethan warns her, look, apparently he knew this the whole time and didn't see fit to tell her. Which is kind of bullshit.
Well, he didn't know it until he interrogated the lion statue. Because he overhears something, I don't remember what. Then he sneaks out and basically goes Batman on the statue. Is like, you are going to tell me what you saw.
He
has a bunch of hamburgers. He's like, you're going to tell me what you saw, or you don't get to eat. Yeah. And the statue's like, oh, damn it.
It was technically a gargoyle. It wasn't a lion.
I thought it was a lion statue in front of like the library or something.
The statues were in front of the main building of the castle gates, but they were more gargoyles. They weren't really lions. You're thinking of the New York Public Library.
Don't need to eat.
Hey, gargoyles got to eat too.
Not to me, that's stone.
That doesn't mean they don't have. That doesn't mean they don't have stone digestive systems.
No, they don't.
Basically, he bribes them for information.
Right. So he explains to Marty, look, this isn't what you think it is. My dad used to, used to belong to a group called the Dominion, a group of 7 evil warlocks in which is trying to take over and rule Halloweentown. They've been at it for a very long time. Chancellor Goodwin and Dr. Grog are on this group. They're trying to trick you into using you to rule Halloweentown. And she doesn't believe this, immediately dismisses him, and kind of throws him out of her life for the time being. And
oh my god, you're totally lying. We're breaking up.
Yeah, so she throws him out of her life temporarily. After this, Marnie proceeds to continue trying to discover the identity of the gift, believing that she's doing the right thing, and knowing all about the. She inevitably finds out that what Ethan told her was the truth. I believe, was that before she time traveled or after?
After, because she throws Ethan out of her life and immediately goes to Professor Periwinkle.
Okay, got it.
The only person she thinks she can trust.
Right.
Because she figures the only way she can find out about Splendora is to go back and talk to Splendora.
So Professor Periwinkle agrees to meet her off campus, and they open a portal to 1,000 years in the past, so that Marnie can speak to Splendora Cromwell to find out the truth about what's going on. So she arrives in the past and happens to be being passed by a wagon being driven by none other than Benjamin C. Deadman, a.k.a.
Yep.
Benny.
Welcome to the Middle Ages.
What do I look like? Some kind of taxi driver? Not yet. So Benny, whose jokes did not get any better over a 1,000-year period, takes her to Cromwell Castle, home of the great and powerful Splendora Cromwell. She arrives at Cromwell Castle and effectively finds young Persimmon Periwinkle, who is selling fruit from the harvest for the coronation in the marketplace, and is a klutz. Although that was kind of established to her older self, and she basically befriends her, and says, I need to find Splendora, and explains, I'm from the future, whatever. And so she points out Splendora across the way, who's being led by several guards in the same robes worn by the Dominion in present day, who are kind of guarding her, and we see that Splendora Cromwell is a spinning image of Marnie, actually played by the same actress, Sarah Paxton.
Of course it is.
And with her natural blonde hair, rather than the dyed brown she wore for Marnie.
Of course it is, because Deus Ex Machina.
Yes. Would have been even more hilarious if it was Kimberly J. Brown. That would have been hilarious.
That would have been awesome.
So anyway.
But we digress.
We digress in fantasy. So she confronts Splendora, and effectively Splendora uses what appears to be the gift to shut her down, and she gets then thrown in a jail. Periwinkle helps her break out of the jail and lets her magic up to Splendora's room, which happens to be the dorm room that Marty resides in present day. So Marty and Splendora have a conversation, basically establishing, I had this...
No, she goes up there, she finds the
box.
Little chest with the S Cromwell on it, and she finds the key sitting next to it, proceeds to open it, and pulls out the pendant thing. No. At which point Splendora walks in and is like, what are you doing in this? Wait a minute, you're a Cromwell.
No.
Because as it is revealed... Only a Cromwell can enter that room because Splendora herself put up some sort of magic ward.
Yes. Okay. Stop with the confusing people on the plot.
What do you mean? That's exactly what happened. She comes in, she's like, wait, what are you doing here? And then she's like, oh, wait, you have to be a Cromwell.
Marnie comes in. She sees the box and is like, where's the key? Finds it underneath. Opens the box to reveal nothing.
A pendant.
No, the box is empty. And she's like, it's not, she's like, she hasn't used the box yet.
Oh, yeah.
No, I haven't. Splendora reveals herself behind Marnie. It's like, what is it? You seek the gift. This. And she reveals the amulet on her hand, which is a large orange-red stone being held in what appears to be a hand made of some type of pewter or metal. Mm-hmm. And says, this is the gift. It's the gift of absolute control. And she demonstrates by making Marnie shut up and dance and wiggle and adornment, as she calls it.
Neil!
Oh, hello, Neil.
Well, we'll kill you for that.
I know, and I don't care. It's my show. Anyway, in all fairness, you did the nerd reference earlier.
In all honesty, it wasn't a reference to that. You made it a reference to that. But anyway, continuing on.
Moving on. Off topic. So, Splendora basically explains, this is the gift of absolute control. It's too powerful and tempts too many people, which is why I have to lock it away and get rid of it. Because the Dominion out here wants to use me to take over Halloweentown and rule it, and I'm not going to do that. So... basically, I'm going to lock this thing in this box and nobody gets to use it. Marty's like, you totally trust me with it, I'll take it. No. It's too dangerous. So they go back and forth for a few minutes until Splendora finally puts the damn thing in the box well, not yet. Until Splendora basically has a conversation with Marnie, who explains, I'm a descendant of yours from the future. She's like, oh, okay. That explains how, because like Marcus said, the room was only a Cromwell could get in. And Marnie says, look, I need to, I understand your plight. It's got to be just like, and we hear that at the same time the lead Dominion woman from that time is banging on the door, demanding Splendora come out and get ready for her coronation, repeatedly. Until at one point she finally screams, "Splendora Agatha Cromwell, open this door immediately!" At which point Marnie goes, "Wait, did she say Agatha?" "Yes, I loathe the Splendora part. When this is all over, I will become just plain Aggie Cromwell." What a twist!
Yes, apparently this was written by M. Night Shyamalan.
So it is revealed that Splendora is actually Grandma Aggie the whole time, and Splendora takes the gift, puts it in the box, and locks it, and says, "I must stop this. I can only hide this key in one place, the future." And she gives it to you. She's like, Marnie's like, "Wait, you trust? Well, why give it to me?" "Because I trust you, Marnie. After all, I'm going to train you myself." So she basically, Marnie reveals that she's her grandmother and everything else, so she gives her the key. Marnie's like, oh, by the way, you're going to need this. And she magics up the big jack-o'-lantern. That is the primary landmark from the whole of Halloweentown.
I do have to say, despite the fact that most of the dialogue in this movie was cheesy, corny, and stupid retarded, I do have to say I did like the one line of Marnie says something along the lines of, be a grandmother, da, 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 and she goes, I'm going to be a grandmother? Whose? And she just points to herself. I thought that was brilliant.
Mine.
Yeah.
So, effectively, Marnie has the key, and she and Splendor reopen the portal. And, oh, by the way, you're going to need this. She magics up the giant pumpkin and steps back through the portal. While Splendor opens the door that has been being banged on by the guards that the Dominion lady sent up and says, boys, good timing. Take this outside. And just walks right past him. Meanwhile, Marnie arrives back in the present in her room in the tower, because that's where the portal was created, to find the box and open it to reveal the gift. Only to find Chancellor Goodwin standing in front of her, who magics the gift into her hand. At which point, having seen the whole Dominion thing in the past to be explained by Splendora, and now seeing Dr. Goodwin, she realizes Ethan was right and she was kind of a bitch. So Dr. Goodwin takes the gift and basically says, thank you for that. You're going to help us. She's like, no, I'm not going to help you. No, we got the gift. Bye. So, Marnie realizes she was wrong about the whole thing, and now Dr. Goodwin has the gift. And the Dominion have the gift and want to use her for this. And she's like, basically, you're gonna help us, and you're gonna be our queen, and you're gonna use this to help us rule Halloweentown. No, I'm not. You will if you want to ever see your brother again. It's like, damn it. So Marnie runs out onto campus, and she tries to figure out what the hell is going on. And
basically, the Sinisters
use the power of 3, yet another Charmed reference, to turn Dylan into a dog who runs off.
So yeah, pretty much they turned him into.
And then Ethan runs after him. He's like, "I'll go find him." Off he goes.
Yes, they turn him into a dog. So Ethan runs off after him to try to find him, and Marnie, now completely without options and just in absolute despair, goes to a plot point that's been seen throughout the movie, and that's that Gwen has nothing to do because Sophie's off training with Aggie, and the other two are at college, so she's now all alone in the mortal realm. And has a bit of empty nest syndrome, so she has to correct this by getting a job as a real estate agent, which is she keeps magicking things around the house to make it more appealing to the people she's trying to sell the houses to, but also keeps repeatedly getting caught trying to talk to Marnie through various bodies of water. We also saw her give Marnie a personal witch's glass in the form of a bracelet earlier on, and they communicate over that as well at various points. So at this, and Gwen's kind of just trying to feel needed, but as Marnie's been trying to show her off, finally at this point, Marnie's like, doesn't know what else to do, and she's like, Mom, I need you. And when she's saying it, there's a whirling sound, and off screen, there's Gwen is like, it's about time, and she hugs her, and oh, it's a sweet moment. And then Gwen does a magic and puts on an awesome Halloweentown dress, and she explains what's going on.
It's probably her sorceress's robes.
Probably. So I explained, okay, here we go. So all right, we got to go solve the day. Let's do this. So they set off the football plan to solve the day. Effectively, they manage to open up. They go up to Marnie's room with Anissa, the genie, and they manage to use a witch's glass in the form of a laptop that Aggie gave her to locate Dylan. And he's in a cage with a lock that has an S shaped, made from a snake on it for Sinister. The snake then leaves out of the witch's glass, grabs Marnie and magic, and pulls her through the thing to where they are.
Deus Ex.
So upon arriving, all of the Dominion and the Sinister Sisters and Dylan as a dog trapped in a cage are all there, and there's Ethan. He's like, "Wait, you're working with them?" Yes, he was. He just didn't know it.
Now I like. Well, before that, she goes, "How did you find Dylan?" We didn't. He did. We found him.
Exactly. He found the dog.
I do have to admit, the guy who plays Silent Sinister has an awesome voice.
Keone Young. Yes, he does.
It's awesome.
We found him. So, they basically say, look, here's the deal, Marnie. We've got your brother. He's a dog. You know the deal with spells at midnight. If we don't turn him back by midnight tonight, because apparently being in the past made several days go by, okay. It's now Halloween night. If we don't turn him back by midnight, your brother will be a dog forever. If you want us to turn him back, you will be our queen, and you will help us. You will put on the gift of total control, wear it, and you will cast a spell over the inhabitants of Halloweentown to make them subservient to the Dominion.
It should also be noted that Gwen and Anissa are still looking on through the witch's glass.
Yes, which Marnie flipped open and left on her wrist while this was happening.
Mhm.
And basically says, of course, at midnight, this spell will become permanent, and the Dominion will have permanent reign over Halloweentown. Things will be much better when the Dominion is in charge. They will run much more smoothly. All we ask is you help us out. Once you have cast a spell, we have no further need for you, and you may use your powers and your gift however you wish. After all, being the most powerful witch alive is why you came here, isn't it? And she's kind of like, yeah. She's like, all right, I'll help you, but you have to agree to turn Dylan back. She's like, of course, my queen, whenever you wish. Like, I want to wear a royal dress. I want my friend Anastasia to be my royal dresser. I will wear a full dress and do this big ceremony because I'm the queen, and that is my demand. Anything you wish, my queen.
Yep, and she also says, I will be preparing in Anissa's room, which is her lamp, which means they can't spy on her, because Jeannie's lamp. Hello.
Right.
And also, this is also the point where they basically become Power Ranger villains, where they basically reveal to her, well, yeah, I don't need you anymore. It's like, really? You're going to tell her that?
Well, they said, we're not going to need you, we won't need you, it basically said, we only need you to do this one thing. You're not going to be permanently working for us. After you've done that and we're in charge of Halloweentown, you can do whatever the hell you want with your power. You can go around and just be powerful witch, super witch in Halloweentown, in the mortal realm, whatever you want to do. You can just be the most powerful witch ever. We won't stop you.
Yeah, but they basically, we won't need you anymore because after you cast that one spell at midnight, it becomes permanent, so therefore we don't need you or your gift anymore because your gift becomes useless.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you. And I'm like, really? You're going to tell her that? Oh. And then also, may I point out, and this is something pointed out, I think it was pointed out by everyone, so you want her to assume this gift, to use this power of total control, and not once you idiots didn't think maybe she'd turn around and use it on you?
In all fairness,
Moron.
she did.
She didn't, but still, that's really fucking retarded. I'm giving you the most powerful weapon in the world and trusting you not to use it on me. How idiotic can you be?
Well, if she used it on them, then they would have, killed Dylan or something, so they had a trump card.
That's like Golden saying, here's your morpher, I trust you not to morph and kick my ass. Seriously.
Fair enough.
No, that's even retarded even on Power Ranger standards.
This is true.
It's like, hey, Tommy, what? Here's your Green Ranger powers back. I trust you not to kick my ass with that dragon flute. Yeah, no. I'm going to kick your ass.
No. So, effectively, the ceremony... and of course, the great reference to the Witch's Glass of, beam me up, Genie.
Yeah, and it's now established that Anissa's genie powers can permeate the entire fucking campus.
Well, through the looking glass, anyway, yes. Through the Witch's Glass,
that's
rather.
quite some range.
Yeah. Well, it's effectively a portal directly there. It's not like it's a lot of range.
Also, I have to ask, if she could grab Marnie, what was preventing her from, grabbing Dylan at the same time?
Magical cage lock. Remember, it kind of pulled Marnie through the fucking portal. I'm pretty sure it's magic enough that he can't get out, even with that.
Nah.
Anyway, so Marnie gets prepared in a royal gown looking not too unsimilar from Splendor in the past, and gets herself prepared for this big event and everything.
It was probably the same costume.
No, it was distinctly different.
Oh.
It was distinctly different, but it was a similar style of dress.
Fair enough.
So they had this big ceremony. Halloween night comes. She instructs Ethan to have Dylan in the courtyard by midnight, and sort of comes up with a plan. And so she meets up with them, puts on the gift, and gains the power, which gives you a creepy deep voice for some reason.
And red eyes.
And effectively begins using the powers. She takes control of her mother and Dylan, and forces Dylan to say, "Yes, my queen." What did I just say?
Turning around to the man saying, I'm not going to assume the gift until you turn my brother back, you pieces of shit.
By the power of 3.
I'm sorry, Charm did it better, but anyway.
Yeah, but by the power of 3, they turn him, being him, Goodwin, and Grodd, they turn Dylan back into human, and she then controls her mother and Dylan and makes Dylan say, "Yes, my queen," and demonstrates the power and makes him do shit. And then basically, after controlling them, says, "Now, Genie," and Anissa uses her little spirit smoke powers, which took a really long time to work, and she could have easily been fucking shot by Silas, Sinister, or any of the others in that time, by the way. Whips the gift off her neck with the magic smoke powers, and apparently despite not wearing it, she still had the ability of it, where she says, "I order you to destroy the gift forever." Because she was so controlling Gwen and Dylan, they both fired a blast of magic at it, as did she, and by the power of 3 Cromwells, which created it, which Splendora explains in the past that she can't destroy it because 3 Cromwells made it, it takes 3 to destroy it, they destroy the gift forever, fucking up the plans of the bad guys, who are like, no! And the thing explodes into awesome fireworks, and everybody cheers, woo, fireworks, woo! We cut it, and then everybody celebrates. It's yay, yay, all happiness. People are kind of hugging each other. And then we see the bad guys slipping outside until the statues form a blue ring of energy around them. And Professor Periwinkle comes out and says, "You're not going anywhere. Persimmon Periwinkle, what is this meaning of this? That's Agent Periwinkle of the Halloweentown Anti-Dominion League. And what's ridiculous is how long I've been undercover. 10 centuries. By the authority of the League, you are hereby stripped of your powers and under arrest for treason." And she drops them all in a witch's glass.
After taking their magic away.
Yes. She kind of does it in one step, but yeah.
True.
Okay. She says that, it traps them in the witch's glass, it sucks their magic away and locks them in there, and they're all pressed against it in a hilarious manner.
Welcome to the Phantom Zone.
Exactly. And it's like, yay, all happy, 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 and Marnie comes down from there, and they're all happy. She hugs her mother, she hugs Dylan, it's all happy. And then Ethan reveals the thing he'd been hiding for the whole movie, and explains that, look, I'm not actually a warlock anymore. When my father's powers were taken, I renounced mine. I'm immortal. And they kind of have a sweet little moment about this, and we pay back to Gwen, whom Dylan's like, "Mom, you're not watching them, are you?" No, of course not. It's like, Ethan Dalloway, huh? Something warlock. Oh, actually, he's immortal. I knew there was something I liked about that kid. Funny moment, and Ethan and much because every movie has to end this way almost. Ethan and Marty get on the broomstick and fly over the campus as fireworks go off, and everybody celebrates the 1000th anniversary of Halloweentown as peace is restored.
And I do have to ask, as I did on the night, I have to ask on this podcast, with all the references they were throwing around, why didn't they throw in the obvious one, considering who they cast in the movie? Why didn't they throw in a Ninja Turtles reference?
I don't know. I do not know.
They should have totally had, while she was away, or maybe having, connections with someone in Halloweentown, have some sort of love interest for Gwen, just so she can throw out the line of, "Will you shut up and kiss me? I have to save Halloweentown."
Mm-hmm. So, they've been strangely silent. Queen of Hearts, Geeky Girl, what do you got to say about this movie?
You forget the one part at the end of the movie.
What did I forget?
That there's a scene where Dylan is in his room, he's reading, he goes through the book.
Oh, yes, all right. So, the final scene after all the celebration, we cut to Dylan, who is in some type of a study.
Before that, Dylan actually is talking to Gwen, saying, "Mom, why did she destroy that thing? You really think she, did you really think she'd do something like that?"
It's a precious family heirroom. It belonged to Grandma Aggie.
Gwen's like, knowing your sister, no, I think she'd rather give it to someone she trusts implicitly.
Completely.
Or completely. Same thing.
Yeah. And so we cut to a scene of Dylan in his study, and he's doing some work or whatever. And needing something for the paper, he picks up a large book and opens it to find a bunch of the pages carved out and the gift nestled inside with some ominous music playing over it. At which point he's like, he picks it up by the neck chain and looks at me and is like, whoa. Proceeds to put it back in the book, close it, and put the book up on the shelf, which is noted that the book has an S on the cover, which I presume is for Splendora.
Yes.
The S glows magically, and Dylan goes back to work as the film ends. Thank you for pointing that out. I forgot that.
Yeah, I believe he says something along the lines of, "Oh boy."
Yeah. So, opinions on the film, Queen of Hearts, Geeky Girl, aside from...
Well, it's just...
one of you at a time.
Bitch. She's not Marnie. She never acts like Marnie. She's just like, super fun, romantic times. All the boys like me. Oh, I gotta have my relationship. I gotta have this. Oh, the bad girl's being bad. Gotta fight girl versus girl. Like all this stupid high school shit. And it's like high school shit. Even though it's college, it's like high school shit.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, it should be noted, once Silas Sinister's magic is taken away, the girl's magic is taken away too, so they're effectively mortal now.
Yes, they attempt to cast some sinister magic on Dylan and Ethan, who upon doing it realize they have no power, and Dylan's like, our magic's gone. Yeah, yours, your father's, your entire family's actually. Like, what? We're mortal, dipshit. I shouldn't say dipshit. We're mortal, dippy.
Dumbbell.
But that's almost as bad as being ugly. And they march away in a huff.
I think it would have been far more awesome, but might have sort of gone against the character of Dylan if at that point where they're like, it's like, wait, our magic's gone. To which he holds up his hand with one finger and you just see like energy glowing off it. Yeah, but mine isn't.
Let's see how you like being like, turned into a dog.
Don't forget, ladies, I'm a warlock. That would have been awesome, but probably against the character.
Yeah, it would have. So, thus is the end of the Halloweentown series. This movie, I would say, on its own as a standalone film, is actually very good. But in terms of continuity with the series, it fucks up a lot of things that were previously established in the earlier movies.
Oh, yes.
Marnie is still not complete in ways. She's still no further than she was in any of the earlier 3 movies.
She's getting dumber now. She's,
Yes. As we've already established by Grandma Aggie in the movie, at a much earlier age, Emily, that's the actress' name, Sophie, is already working on interstellar time travel, something that Marty couldn't do at several years older.
Technically, she did the time travel stuff in, what was it? Was it the second movie? It was the second movie.
Yes, and she fucked it up repeatedly.
But then she finally got it right, because she practiced, she finally got it right. It's just she forgot the spell. That's why she couldn't get home. But had she remembered the spell, she would have been fine.
She was like 16 then.
Yeah, but it's also been established at that point then that, yeah, that's... She can do the interdimensional time travel stuff. She's done it already. And with her training, you would have to assume that she'd be decent at it, whereas Sophie's just learning how to do it. She just doesn't do it. That and the fact that she doesn't fuck it up in the 4th one because she has to use that magic with Periwinkle to go back in time. So obviously she could do it right.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure Periwinkle did the brunt of that.
Still. So, Sophie has Grandma Aggie. That didn't seem to help her much.
Yeah, well.
Lest we forget, Aggie's probably more powerful than Periwinkle. I rest my case.
Yes, but Aggie wasn't doing it with her because that defeats the purpose of training. If you're doing spells with someone, they had to do it with their own magic.
Perhaps.
Aggie's secretly Periwinkle disguise.
Yep. So, Quentin Harts, what do you think of the movie? That's not a reaction.
Yeah. Not much of a movie, is it? Like, I mean, it seems like you're just rehashing it again, only she's older and she's supposed to be more advanced and she's really not. And like Geeky Girl said, it's all high school stuff all over again, even though it's college. And you get the Sinister sisters where like they're typical bad girls, or like they think they know everything, they can do whatever, and they use magic even though there's that explicit thing where you're not supposed to use magic and blah blah, and it's just whatever. So
the only way you could enjoy this movie if you hadn't seen the other 3.
Pretty much.
And also you got a lobotomy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought did a halfway decent job. Yeah, she's no Kimberly Brown. She doesn't really look the part. At first, I was like, she doesn't really feel like Marty. But as the movie went on, it's like, okay, I think she's starting to feel the character. Did all right. What really hurt this movie was the dialogue and the villains. I mean, let's face it, it was, as we put them, Dumb, Dumber, and Dumbest. The villains were a fucking joke in this movie, let's be honest. As cool as they were a joke. And then you just had, This movie was just way too over the top with what it was doing, which is too bad because it had quite a few smart moments in the movie, which were just completely overshadowed by the over the topness. The concept was really good. I liked the concept. I liked the whole discovering more about the Cromwell family lineage and about the history of Halloweentown. I thought that was kind of cool. But like the movies before, with the MO of let's put in more MacGuffins and data is magic. We don't have to explain it.
Pretty much.
And it's like, oh, no, don't do that. Just you've established stuff. Don't create more shit that goes against what you established and say we're not going to explain it because magic. No, that's lazy writing.
Yep.
On the whole, I thought the movie wasn't terrible, and I thought it was better than the third one.
What was it again?
Hmm?
Oh, can you repeat that again, please?
No, I just said I didn't think on the whole that the fourth movie was all that terrible. In fact, I thought it was better than the third movie.
Oh. And it was back to the history of the Cromwells and everything. It was interesting when she went back to find what's in the box and everything to figure out what's in it. It was interesting to know that that her grandmother was at one time of Halloweentown. You didn't see that coming.
Yeah, honestly, my biggest problem with this fourth movie was the fact that of all of them, this was the one that was most Marnie-centric, to the point that they didn't ask Emily Posky to come back, which I was like, really? I mean, it's probably because of the age thing, but still, it's like, yeah, you just now completely buried Sophie, and because of that, you had to completely bury Aggie, too. Yeah, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
And as Mr. Phoenix pointed out while we were watching it, Judith Hogue over there was reduced to basically Bulk and Skull, the comedy.
Yep.
Which I have to admit, some of that was pretty funny, but at the same time, it's like, wow. Just wow.
Boo.
Yeah, pretty much. So, with that, would everybody like to give a numerical rating for each of the films in order?
Before we do that, should we for her opinion on the third movie, since she kind of zoned out for that one?
Yes, good. Would you like to give us your opinions on Halloweentown High, Queen of Hearts?
It was probably just a little bit jumbled. I mean, Marnie just concentrated on the guy that she seemed to like, and he seemed to like her, without really her whole explicit thing of, Halloween towners are supposed to, the human world, and it was just kind of confusing, almost. But it did end up being, okay, yeah, well, we can actually get along without... I forget what my train of thought was going with this.
You liked the message it had.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Long story.
Hmm? Hello?
Hello. Yes.
There we go. Making sure people are still there. Everyone went all silent.
Yes, Queen of Hearts audio cut out for some reason.
It's a friggin' button.
This movie was entitled Fun with Pooh.
Ah.
Anyway, let's go ahead.
So yes, let's all.
It did have like an educational aspect behind it about racism and discrimination. I mean, everybody's human. Like, you want to be treated and not how you perceive them. Like, if somebody's different, don't treat them like treat them as a human being. Treat them as like you want to be treated, basically.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, why don't we all go through and we'll rate each of us rate each of the 4 films. Do we want to go out of 5 or out of 10? What do we think?
2 out of 5.
I'll do it out of 5.
10?
Out of 10.
Oh. Steve.
Out of 5 was the thing.
No, out of 10.
Jim, it's your show.
I really don't care. You want to do out of 10? We can do out of 10. I don't care. Would you like to go first, Marcus?
Nah, let the ladies go first.
Okay.
Ladies first.
Geeky girl, you're up first.
Okay. First movie, I'm going to give it a 7. Second movie, I'm going to give it an 8. Third movie, I'm going to give it a 3. Fourth movie, I'm going to give it a -5.
-5.
Fair enough.
Wow, you really hated that movie.
I hate her.
Mm-hmm. You're just jealous.
Why, I'm not blonde and stupid and fucking retarded and poor and... No, I don't want to be any of those things. No thanks. I'll leave that to her.
Mm-hmm. What about you,
Wow.
Harts?
Well, we're just learning, so probably the first movie would be probably like a 7. And the second movie was maybe an 8, and the third movie 5, and the fourth movie well, let's say maybe an 8 or 9.
Wow, she liked it. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Last
fourth
chance.
movie, let's go with 5 then.
Wow, that's a big difference from your first score.
Yeah, then don't give in to peer pressure. Stand strong.
Now,
I'd like to
what do you
give-
actually think of
Queen of Hearts. Go with how
What's
you
the
actually
question?
feel about the movie.
Okay, I stand like
What's that?
we had 7, 8. What is the question actually? Because you were cutting out the question.
The question was, how do you actually feel about the final movie, Queen of Hearts? If that fits how you actually feel.
In 8.
Okay.
Okay.
Marcus.
Well, I will also go with the 7 and an 8 for the first 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
For the third movie, I'll go with and the fourth movie
The third movie you'll go with the what you cut out.
5.
Okay.
The fourth movie, I'll say a 7.
Okay. Fair enough.
And your rating, Phoenix?
I would probably say, I don't know. I think the first movie. To be honest with you, I'm gonna give the first movie a 9 because I really like the first movie. I think it's a great family movie. I think the sequels subsequently ruin it further and further. But the first one I give a 9. I give the second movie a 7. It's okay. The third movie I'd probably give maybe a 5, and then I think the last movie I would also give a 7.
I hate him.
Yeah.
All right, a 6.
She's late.
I know.
Folks, we encourage you to go watch these movies for yourselves and get your own opinions. They are pretty decent family movies. Again,
And
kind
then
of
I
cheesy and ridiculous.
and then I suggest after watching them, please gouge out your eyes because you're never going to want to see anything again.
Yeah. So, with that, this has been our Halloweentown series review. If you want to hear more about Halloweentown, go to fanfiction.net. There's some great stories over there.
No, there's not. It's all sexy stuff with Marty and like trolls and things. Don't go there.
No, not all of it. Halloweentown 5, the Final Revenge is pretty good. So with that, this has been part 2 of our 2-part review of all 4 Halloweentown films for Halloween. I'd like to thank my co-host for joining me. Geeky Girl,
Yo.
Marcus Shadow,
Yo.
and of course the Queen of Hearts.
See you later.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a happy, safe, and candy-filled Halloween.
Watch out for them razor blades.
Exactly.
Happy Halloween from the air.
Happy Halloween from the
Happy
XPound.
Halloween.
Give me candy.
Cut.
Good night, everybody.